Hey everyone,
Hi.
welcome back to the podcast. Things
It's
are
been a
looking a
while.
little more cozy here, a little
Yeah.
different. Layla moved into the office because we needed an extra bedroom. I thought after having Finn that it would be fine to just have him in my room, and it is okay. He is sleeping in there, but he needed a place for his stuff. It was just messier than normal.
Now Layla's right next to my room, which
You
is
should
just so
enjoy
great.
it. You should enjoy it for now.
Yeah, it's the best.
She does love to get into Braylee's things, and we try to keep it contained. I don't just allow her to go in there, and Braylee doesn't just allow her. Braylee does let her use her things sometimes, and then Layla just gets a little confused.
Layla likes to take advantage.
She just looks up to you. She wants to do and have and just be just like you.
Which
you
is
know?
so cute until she's using all of your stuff.
I know.
Then it's not.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been a while since we have done the podcast. We're constantly talking about it and hoping to do more. We do have an update with Braylee today. That's what we're going to be talking about because obviously she was in Costa Rica and we haven't talked to Braylee since she's been back. She's going to give you all the details and the
All the
tea
deets.
is piping. Is it?
It's steaming hot.
She also has some big plans that are going to be happening soon. Equally as hard as you leaving to go to Costa Rica, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk to her about everything that she has going on, what she's been up to. But first, we have a sponsor for today's video. I'm always so grateful when we have a sponsor for the video. And today, the sponsor is Upside. Upside is a free app that gets you money back, cash back on daily essentials like gas, groceries, dining. And there are over 100,000 grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants where you can get cash back. And I promise you that when you live on your own, you're going to be so excited about these things.
And you actually get cash back?
Yeah, you actually get cash back. You're not going to have to worry about like confusing credits or rewards or like anything like that. You actually get cash back to your account. We went and used it today. I always use it for gas. Gas prices are, we all know, it's stressful. It's stressful, so why not get some cash back? It's super, super easy to use. Like, it couldn't be more simple. It walks you through exactly how to use it. I think the thing about apps is sometimes they can just feel too confusing to use, and this just breaks it down. As you're doing it, you're going to be buying your own groceries. You can use it at grocery stores, and you're going to want to do that also because groceries are also so expensive.
Everything's so expensive.
I mean, I live my life like looking for a coupon, looking for stuff like this. So I love Upside.
And frequent users of Upside earn up to about $340 a year.
And there are people who are earning $300 a month using this. So if you are traveling a lot for work, if you have a big family and you're buying a lot of groceries, definitely check this out because you can earn upwards to $300 a month, which is great. To find out how much you could earn, you can click the link in the description to download Upside and use my promo code HeyKaylee and get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Or I'm going to put a QR code here on the screen. You can scan that and use it and get that same offer. So be sure to check it out. Let us know if you do. I've been using it for a while. I talked about this a couple months ago. Definitely an app that I love. All right, and now we're going to turn the time over to Braylee.
I don't know what to update on because it's been so long.
I know.
I don't know where I left off.
You left off going to Costa Rica. I think actually the very last podcast we uploaded was you knowing about the baby. You knowing about baby Finn.
Oh, cute. Okay, well, I guess we'll start with Costa Rica, what everybody's been wanting to know. I don't think we've been talking about it on the vlogs or anything really at all.
We haven't because we were like, we'll talk about it on the podcast. We'll talk about it on the podcast. I was just out for the count while I was pregnant. And then it's been a little crazy. I don't know why I ever thought I was busy before I had a baby because I remembered very quickly that life is busier with a newborn. But here we are. So
here we are. Well, 6 months later, almost 7. That's so weird.
It is really weird to think that at this time last year we were like counting down till when you were leaving, just so sad.
I was like crying that I was leaving. Now here I am doing nothing.
You're so busy.
Anyways, I don't even know where to start.
Let's talk about the airport.
The airport was not fun. I was like basically on my hands and knees begging my mom not to make me go.
And I was trying so hard to keep it together. I was like, you have to be a good mom in this moment. You have to be a good mom. And I was just like, it's okay, Braylee. It's going to be okay. You're going to love it. And I was trying so hard to not also break down on the floor and cry with Braylee and be like, it's okay, you don't have to go. Because there's nothing that I wanted more than to be like, you don't have to go. Let's let's leave right now.
Oh, if that was an option, I think I would have taken it. Like, I wanted to go to Costa Rica and I was so excited, but leaving, like, when it comes down to it, leaving is just sad and
Yeah.
scary. Especially, I didn't know anybody going to Costa Rica. If you've watched that podcast already, you already know that, but I didn't know anybody. And so I just was, like, so scared. What if I don't like the girls? What if, it's crazy. It's not what I expected, which little did we know.
Little
It was going to be like that a little bit.
Yeah. Literally the bravest thing ever. Truly.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that now. I was so proud of you. I was so sad but so proud of you.
It feels like a fever dream. Like, if somebody told me they were going to Costa Rica to live there for 4 months, I'd think that was so cool, but it does not feel like I did that at all. Because I got home and it was just like everything was back to normal,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
what I
weird.
kept telling Braylee too. I was like, I promise you're not going to miss out on anything here. We're just going to be doing the same things.
And it didn't
And
feel
you
like
were.
that when you're far away.
Yeah.
But anyways, got to the airport. All of us girls, well, there was a girl ahead of me that was also going to Costa Rica, and we kind of talked and like had a group chat texting before, and so I knew that she was one of the girls I was going with, and so I felt really embarrassed because I was just like sobbing to my family, begging them not to make me go the whole time. As soon as I entered the airport, I was crying. As soon as we went to dinner, I was crying right before, and we all met up. I really liked the girls. I texted my mom as soon as I got there, and I was like, I think I'll be okay. Like,
Thank
everything will
goodness.
be okay.
Because watching Braylee walk by herself to go like through security broke my heart. It was so hard. I can't explain it. And once we couldn't see her any longer, we all turned and started walking, and all of us just broke down. We were sobbing, like so loud in the car, all of us. We were just sobbing.
Gage sent me a video and you could hear them all like, it was so funny.
Honestly, I don't know if I've ever cried that hard.
It was so sad.
It was so sad. And then Braylee sent me that text, and I was so grateful. You said like, Mom, I love the girls already.
Yeah. It felt like really comforting because we all were scared. We were all sad. It was like all of our first times leaving home pretty much. And so we all, I don't know, like connected in that moment because we all knew we were sad, but we were just telling each other about like our lives and distracting ourselves. I didn't even cry after like I got through security. The whole time through the line, I was sobbing and everyone was like, what is up with this girl? But after I got through security, I was okay. Anyways, I'll tell you a little bit about my group. We're all 18 pretty much. All of us were 18. There was a couple 19-year-olds, and then our head teacher was, I think, like 22 or something. I hope she doesn't see this, and I'm saying she's really old, but I think she was like 22.
That's not really old.
I know, but what if she's like 20? I think she was 22. I don't know. Sorry if you're seeing this. I don't remember how old you are. Anyways, so we were a very young group. And with a bunch of 18-year-olds, you know that there's just bound to be drama.
Yeah, fresh out of high school.
Yeah, fresh out of high school. I mean, I love some gossiping every once in a while, too. Who doesn't when you're 18? So it was just remember our ages throughout this whole story. Anyways, we get to our house, and we all have, like, 75 bags. So we get to our house, and it looks so cute. It was such a cute house. I loved our house. And it was just so cute. We go in for our room arrangements, and there's, like, these tiny rooms with, like, 4 beds stuffed into them. And I, like, kind of knew this going into it, like, it's obviously not ideal. I'm going to a third world country to help, and that's, like, why I'm there. But just having my own level at my house and then going and sharing a room with 3 other girls and then 2 bathrooms with 13 girls was just a little scary. I won't lie.
No.
I was like, great, what am I going to do without my personal space? It ended up being fine. I honestly got the best room and the best bed, so I was thankful. Somehow I got assigned to that stuff, which was great. My roommates were great, and yeah, everything was awesome.
Also, over Braylee's bed, she had a bug net. All of the girls had bug nets over their beds, and she said so many times when we were talking that it felt like her room.
Yeah.
Like the bug net kind of made it feel like it was private, even though you could see through it.
Yeah, it was see-through, but as soon as you zip that up, everyone knew, like, okay, probably leave them alone. Like, their door shut.
Yeah.
I actually love my bug net. I still think about that every day. It just felt, like, so safe. I don't know. I just felt so comforted in my bug net. Costa Rica was beautiful. It was so pretty. My town was up in the mountains, and so I wasn't, like, on the beach or the coast or anything, which I kind of got thankful for because it wasn't so humid and like
Mhm.
it was pretty hot. It was like 80s every day, but that's way better than like 100 degrees down by the ocean. And like the ocean areas are way more crowded, and so we're definitely in the more like poor area. I still wouldn't say it was that poor because it was a pretty nice area, which was honestly a little disappointing going into it because originally I was going to go to Africa. My friend decided not to go, and so I was like, I'm not going to Africa by myself because that's a little scarier than Costa Rica. I'm sure you guys all think.
I was like, Braylee, have you seen the snakes?
Yeah, that got me. The snakes. But I just was thinking about like I've seen so many people going and helping in Africa, and the kids just love them.
Yeah.
Like, love hugging them. So I went to my school kind of expecting that. Like, these kids are going to think, you know, we were so great for going there to teach them English and that they would love us. And that ended up not being true. They didn't really like us. We were teaching at a private school. And so it was a more wealthy school, and they had iPhones and like a
Mhm.
nicer area, which was a little hard because I wanted to go and help like those poor areas, the areas where they didn't have money to pay for private school or phones or things like that. Again, these kids still needed love and like attention, and they needed to know English. So like there was still a purpose there, but it
Mhm.
wasn't the purpose that I was necessarily going there to be, because I just wanted to be there to like love those kids and just nourish them and
Yeah.
help in ways that I thought I was helping, which wasn't the case. But there was this one little boy who was like my favorite human ever. Like I sometimes wake up and like cry because I miss him so much. He was so cute.
Yeah, Braylee wanted us to name Finn after this little boy. His name was William.
He was so cute. I'm definitely naming my child William. He was so cute.
I think too, going back to teaching, they just didn't really want you there. A lot of the kids didn't, and a lot of the parents.
Yeah.
That was the feeling that Braylee got. So she went there wanting to like serve and give back in a way and help.
And the school was kind of like that too. Like, I don't know. And this might sound like kind of bratty coming out of my mouth, and I don't mean it like that at all, but I just feel like if someone was coming to like serve me and help me, like I would want to be thankful for that, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I didn't expect like gratitude or anything like crazy, but they just did not like us.
Well, it's like you go there hoping to like form this community, like, oh, these girls are here, like the English teachers are here, and let's embrace them and let's form this community and we'll all help each other. And it felt very like separated.
Yeah, it felt like almost I was always scared to go to the school because I was scared I was going to get like in trouble for something by like the principal or like skanked out by one of these teachers when I was just the only reason I was there was for those kids. It wasn't like to post on Instagram and be like, look at what I'm doing. Everyone should think I'm so great. Like, that's not the reason I went. I was went to help those kids, and it just felt like they were not thankful for us at all. And I understand that we're such a young group of kids, and that was kind of their problem was that we were all so young.
Mm.
But, like, I feel like that's even more special. Like, all these 18-year-old girls are going fresh out of high school to help these kids. But it was just very frowned upon by everybody in the community,
Yeah.
which was hard. Um, and I feel like a lot of us, when we got to Costa Rica, had kind of negative mindsets. And I'll say I was definitely one of those people because I was very homesick and I missed my family and my friends. And it was just hard being away from home. And so I was very sad when I was there. And it was hard.
Yeah.
Like, I called my mom most nights crying because I just missed my home. And so I think going into something like that with a negative mindset and like a sad heart made it a lot harder. But then, like, receiving all this negativity and like the head people would come to our houses and like get mad at us for dancing in the streets like on our way to grocery stores or like being loud at ice cream shops. So it just felt like we had to be very secluded in our house and like not really allowed outside of that.
Yeah.
We were getting like really so many rules. Like we had more rules than I have at my house right now. And like guidelines that we had to follow and a dress code we had to follow and like curfews and just all this stuff. And so it felt like we were not graduated almost. Like it felt like we were little kids still.
Which, as a mom, I was grateful for those rules because I wanted you to be safe. So obviously, those rules are put into place to keep you
Yeah.
safe. But, I can also see where you're coming from. But I was like, follow the rules.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm also thankful for the rules. Like we should be home before dark if like the country's unsafe or like 3 people in an Uber is so smart because you'd never know what you're getting when you get in an
Yeah.
Uber. So they're really smart. But the biggest thing I'm thinking of when I say rules is on my birthday we went to this karaoke bar. It was a restaurant. There were little kids there. We're not allowed at bars. But our head coordinator was like, you guys should go to this karaoke bar. Like, it's so fun. It's a restaurant, whatever. So we went, and it was so fun. That was like the best. That was the highlight of the whole trip, was that karaoke bar. Everyone hated us there because we were annoying Americans to them, just singing Party in the USA. And so they didn't really like it, but we loved it. And it was so fun. We'd get virgin pina coladas. Also, we're not allowed to drink, which is also great, I think,
Yeah.
because drinking can make a lot of situations unsafe.
Right.
And that, I think like a week later, our coordinators came to our house, and we were all so scared. I was really scared because my dress was above my knees. So the whole entire time during the talk, I was like slouched down, so it was like past my knees, so that they didn't dress code me. They came to our house, and so we were all like, I can remember this so vividly. We were all like standing on our balcony. What is it called? Not a balcony.
Porch?
On our porch. And they were standing right in front of us, and we were all like circled around them. And they were like, so what were you guys doing on, I think it was September 25th? And we were like, we were at this karaoke bar, like, that you recommended. And she was like, well, the cops are outside of your house. And all of us were like, instant anxiety. Like, what? Like, what did we do to make the cops be outside of our house? And they were like, there's noise complaints. Like, you guys need to be more quiet. Which we had been told a couple times before that. Just, like, quiet down. Just by our head teacher. And so, yeah, we were like, whatever. That makes sense. We're kind of loud. And they were like, next time the cops come to your house and you don't come outside as soon as you hear the sirens, you guys are all going to jail. And instantly I regretted going on this trip with this program. I was like, I don't want to go to jail in a different country. That's so scary.
That was a really scary situation. Braylee called me and let me know, and I was like, what? They can just take you to jail for being too loud?
Yeah, it was crazy. And they were like, well, don't worry, because if you go to jail, you can just give them $1,000.
And that made me nervous too. I was like, what?
My mom was like, well, what's going to stop them from coming to your house all the time then if they're just going to get $13,000? And I was like, oh no, like, I didn't even think about that. I was so scared. And we were never made aware of, like, what our rights were. We didn't know that we had to, go down if we heard sirens, because in America, if you hear sirens, usually, like, you ignore them because you don't want to get into the place's business, or, you just ignore the sirens. But they don't knock on your door, they don't ring your doorbell. You have to go outside as soon as you hear sirens. Which is scary, because what if they would have came and taken us that time, because we didn't know that was the rule. And also, they were not very nice about it, which is okay, because they could also get in trouble about us going to jail. Or like, why didn't we know that a noise complaint was that big of a deal?
Yeah.
Because there were kids screaming outside of our house in our neighborhood. There were fireworks going off all the time. Like, yeah, we knew to be quiet at a respectful hour, but it was all the time. Like, even during the day, they didn't want us to make any noise. When you're in a house, a tiny house with 13 girls, that's really hard.
Right.
Like, even if you're just having a conversation, like, it's going to get loud.
Yeah.
And so I think just our location of our house wasn't in a great area, because obviously the neighbors didn't like how loud we were, but our neighbors were so close to us. So, like I said, if we were talking, they could already hear us. One of the girls was super angry about this, about us not knowing our rights and about us being threatened to go to jail. So she called the head person, and it just was such a shit show. Like, it was so bad. And he also was like, well, you can just pay them $1,000 and you won't go to jail. And it was basically like, if you go to jail, you guys are on your own. Like, we can't do anything about it. And that was just such an unsettling feeling. Like, we are alone if something bad happens. Nobody's here to help us.
Right.
And so that was a really bad situation with the program. And I'm not trying to bash on the program. I'm not even going to mention the name of the program, just because I have heard of people go on with this program to other countries, and they had a great experience. This was just our experience. When we were there, all of the Costa Rica groups were actually having problems, every single location. And I guess they send a lot of the young girls to Costa Rica just because it's a beachy area. A lot of people say on, like, their application that they want to be by the beach in, like, a tropical area. There's a few different places I was going to go to first, in, like, Africa. I can't remember the other place, Thailand. But then I just decided to go to Costa Rica. So I didn't even put on my resume I wanted to be by the beach or anything. I didn't really care about that, but I mean, it makes sense. A lot of young girls do want to go there. But there was so many problems in the other Costa Rica groups. Like, they had somebody break into their house with a machete.
I can't imagine. When you told me that, I was like, It was right before you were coming home.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, you cannot come home soon enough.
And the program didn't even want to send them home. And I know a lot of this doesn't sound like super serious, but while you're living in it, it's just scary.
Yeah, there were so many little things that just felt unsettling having you there and you being there. It was just talking about it now, it's like, well, that's fine. Well, you can get through that. But all these little things just add up.
Yeah. Anyways, also, lots of fights through our house, which I think was great. We'd all just scream at each other. We were like sisters. We all would hate each other for like a day.
That's going to happen with all
yeah.
your roommates. Just get ready.
But we're all best friends now. Like, I love all the girls. I miss all of them. We'll sometimes do dinners and stuff, and which is great. I love them all so much. Another situation that was so crazy in Costa Rica, it was like towards the last month that we were going to be there. I think we came home in like 2 weeks. We decided to go on this hike, and this whole day was just a mess. I did not want to go on the hike. I'm not a hiker girl, but I was like, whatever, I'll go. So we took this Uber, and I swear this Uber was like a 2-hour long drive. Like, it was so long, and they were trying to go up this like dirt road, and you could smell rubber from their tires burning out, and it was just such a mess. One of the girls planned it, and we were like, oh my gosh.
I like worry about that Uber and the Uber driver, and like, what if they had to get new tires? And
I worry about that too. I'm like, girl, you have to pay for those. The girl that planned all this. Anyways, we get to the top, and they're like, so the Uber drivers are like, how are you guys going to get back down? And we were like, I don't know. I had no idea. And they were like, no, Uber's going to come up here to pick you guys up. And that should have been our moment when we were like, okay, we'll get back in the Uber and go back. And we were like, it's fine, I'll figure it out. And so we were going to hike even more up this mountain because they were like, we can't go any farther. Like, this is where you are. And we were like, okay, whatever. So we were like, okay, let's hike up this mountain. And I was like, guys, if we hike up this mountain and then have to walk all the way back into town, we're not going to get home until like midnight. And so they were like, yeah. So instead of hiking the mountain that we were originally going to hike, we just walked the road back down, which was so long. We were all grumpy and mad, and so we were hitchhiking.
Jeez.
Which is not smart to do.
That wasn't against the rules?
It probably was. Please don't sue me if you're watching this. And there was like this really cute lady driving a truck, and we were like, can we please ride in the back of your truck bed back down to town? Like, we'll pay you, we'll do anything. And she was like, yeah, of course. She was super nice. She had a nice house and was getting like security cameras put up, so we felt safe about it. Mm-hmm. So she drove us back into town. We were like, thank you so much. She was so nice, like the nicest lady ever. She stopped to take like pictures of us in front of this view. Aww. Just such a nice lady.
Thank goodness she came along.
Yeah. I was like, guys, I was so worried about us. I did not think we were going to get back. Anyways, so she's like, there's this bus station across the street, just run across the street, and then the bus will pick you up. And so we went to run across the street, and a car started coming. So we were all like, stop, and like started walking backwards. And this girl was walking backwards and fell backwards down into this like 6-foot deep well with no water.
One of the roommates.
Yeah, one of our roommates. And I like was trying to catch her, like in slow motion, and it was so sad. I'm glad I didn't catch her because I would have fallen and landed on her and probably would have killed her. But she was like falling. It was kind of traumatizing. She fell down this well and split her head open and was like bleeding everywhere. And none of us spoke Spanish except for one girl, and so she was like translating for us, and these people watched it all happen, and so they were like calling the ambulance, trying to get them there, and it was just so crazy. And all of us were just crying because it was so scary. We didn't know like what brain injury she had, what damage happened, and so it was so scary. And the ambulance came. We all went to the hospital. In Costa Rica, they don't believe in concussions, and so they're basically like, you're fine, and sent her back home. She definitely had a concussion, like everything hurt her head, and she did split her head open and it was bleeding. But they didn't really do any head scans, so they didn't know like the damage that actually was done in her brain. And so she was like, I need to go home. Mm-hmm. There's 2 more weeks left of teaching. It's not that big of a deal. And the company we went through was like, okay, but you have to pay, I think it was like $2,000, $3,000 or something. After she fell into a well and like split her head open, maybe had brain damage, she wouldn't have been able to teach anyways because she had a concussion.
And just so scary for her. Like, you need to be home after something like that happens.
Yeah, it was so scary. Like, she didn't have parents there to help her. If that happened to me, I'd be home so fast. So her mom flew out. They went home. She had to pay that fine, I'm pretty sure.
I cannot believe that. That was wild.
I just feel like our company only cared about money. And I think that was really hard for all of us because we didn't feel like we were cared about through our company. We just felt like they only wanted us there for the money. Again, just kind of sucked. But I loved Costa Rica. I'm so thankful I went and I got to experience that. Like, it's definitely made me a lot more confident in, like, talking to people because before that I had really bad social anxiety. So it was just hard for me to talk to people. But I feel like since I've gotten back, it's so much easier. And I just feel like I was just in Mexico and I just felt, like, safe, which I shouldn't probably in Mexico. I feel like I'm safe there. But I, like, could kind of communicate with the Uber drivers and communicate with the people. And it just was fun.
Yeah.
Like, it reminded me of Costa Rica. I'm saying like a lot. Sorry.
Those life experiences are just so important, and that time is irreplaceable. Even though there were hard things, and she's obviously talking about some of the hard things, the experience overall was a positive one, I think. And you learned a lot. She thought about maybe being a teacher before she went. She knows she doesn't want to be a teacher,
Never.
which is good to know. Teachers are the greatest, and we can all appreciate them more now.
I taught this class and it was called Transition, and that means I think it's kindergarten or something. And that was my favorite class. I felt so loved in that class by those kids. So I made my head teacher like switch all my classes to that class because I just love them. They all be like, "Teacher Bray," and it was so cute. I'm gonna cry. I miss him. That's the class that William was in, and I loved him. And so I'm so thankful I got switched to that class because I did think it made everything worth it. And all the bad things just went away when I was in that class because these kids just loved me so much, and I just loved them, and it was perfect. I cried so hard leaving that class.
Yeah. So Braylee would actually come up with the lessons. Was that hard because you didn't know Spanish at all, or was it easy? Because you weren't, even if you knew Spanish, you weren't allowed to speak Spanish. You could only speak English. Was that hard? Like, what was it like teaching?
I actually think it made it easier. I mean, there was definitely times when I knew the kids were frustrated because they didn't know how to say certain things in English, especially with the younger classes, because they would try to communicate with you about like something about the lesson and they just couldn't because I didn't know Spanish and they didn't really know English. So there was hard with that language barrier, but I think it made it easier for them to learn English because they knew the only way they could communicate with me was through English. So that was definitely helpful. Planning lessons was super easy, kind of, depending on what you had. So there was like 5 different subjects, I think. It was not like math, science. It wasn't that stuff. It was like reading, arts and crafts, games. I don't remember. There's a bunch of different ones. And so every week you'd switch between what you had. And so it was really fun planning the lessons. I loved arts and crafts and kitchen. Those were my favorite ones because those are the ones the kids loved. I think by the end they definitely knew a lot more English. Were we the best English teachers? No. But we loved the kids so much.
I do think that that's the best way to teach a kid is by having fun and playing games and doing exactly what you were doing. So I'm sure, and I've said this to Braylee a million times, you made more of a difference than you think.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they still remember me. I thought about going back.
That would be
2
fun.
months ago. I was going to go back to Costa Rica and see them. I was like, what if they don't remember me? Because they have so many teachers.
Yeah, they just like rotate out. So when Braylee left right before Christmas, another group went in right after Christmas. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's okay if they don't remember me, but I love them so much.
And Braylee also got to travel outside of Costa Rica. So she had to go on, was it 2 mandatory trips?
I had to go on 1 trip out of the country. Other than that, it didn't matter.
Okay.
But 1 trip had to be out of the country. But we did go on, like, so many trips. I want to say, like, 13 trips during my 4 months. 2 of them were out of the country. I went to Nicaragua. Would I recommend? I did not like Nicaragua. The other girls loved it. It was not my favorite ever.
Were you sick?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I didn't like it. There was, like, dogs that were super skinny, like, dying on the side of the road.
Sad.
And, like, a lot of homeless people. That stuff just makes me sad, and I wouldn't want to go on vacation there.
Yeah, it's really cool that you were able to travel while you were there, but it's also hard when no one knows where you're going or, like, the right areas to go to or, you guys, they were just guessing.
Yeah,
Really?
literally, we just, like, book an Airbnb. I mean, the company had to approve it, so that was great. Like, I felt safe after the company would be like, yeah, that's a great Airbnb. But other than that, like, we just would go places we didn't know. Like, when we were in Nicaragua, we went to this lake, and it was so fun. I actually loved the lake. If you do go, I have no idea where I was, but
But go to that lake.
So fun. We'd, like, rent paddle boards. It was just a great time. And then I went to Panama. I love Panama. I would love to go back there. That was our 10-day trip. And we drank bad water, so we had the Panama poops. And I pooped my pants twice. So that was awesome. But I still loved it. We stayed at this really fun place, and they did like parties every night and like different theme parties. So one night would be like a jungle, the other night would be, I don't remember, like hot pink or something. But it was so fun. They had like, the middle was like a pool, but it was actually the ocean, and they had like diving boards into it. It was so cool.
That's really fun.
And they had a water taxi, so you'd pay $1 and you got to ride on this like little canoe back and forth. It was so fun. I went to a bunch of different like parts of Costa Rica. I don't remember all of them. Oh, I went to Manuel Antonio. That was my favorite trip, but we stayed at this Airbnb. I forgot about this.
Yeah.
We stayed at this Airbnb, and it was so fun. The guy was so nice. So our Airbnb is right here, and then his actual house was like in our backyard. And he was so nice. He like greeted us. He knew English. He told us a bunch of like fun stuff to do. He set up this like turtle releasing excursion for us to go on, and it was so fun. But one night was our first night there. We got back to the house, and I saw something run under my bed. And I was like, maybe I saw it out of the corner of my eye. So I was like, maybe I'm just making it up. And then one of our girls was from Canada, and not the one that fell into a well, it was a different one. And she's super brave and just like loves outdoors and stuff like that. So I was like, come over here and look under our bed. And I was like up on my bed hiding. And she was like, it's a rat. And we were all like hiding and like trying to get in. It was running through our like suitcases and like, oh my gosh, it was horrible. And then it like eventually ran out into the kitchen and literally ran up the wall. I don't know how a rat can run up a wall, but it did. And it was like, you know those ledges where it doesn't fully meet the roof, it's just like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The ceiling, the wall didn't reach the,
yeah.
there
so
was
there
like
was like a little gap. And
little
so
ledge.
it was like another floor up there for the rats. And so we called the Airbnb guy. It was like midnight, and we're like, I'm so sorry, like it's so late, but a rat just ran up onto our whatever it is. And none of there were ledges all throughout the house. So if a rat wanted to run into our room and jump onto the bed, it literally could.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. And so we called the guy, and he was like, okay, I'll come put rat poisoning up there. Super nice. So he brought rat poisoning over, and he came and stood on the counter, and he was going to throw rat poisoning up there to kill it.
Are you saying poisoning?
Rat poison?
Yeah.
He's going to throw rat poison up onto this ledge. And he was, walking over to grab the rat poison. Ugh, it's so bad. And
he was walking on a table?
Yeah, he was walking on the table to get the rat poison, because he was, looking over the ledge to see if he could see the rat. When he was walking over, there was this metal fan going, and it sliced his head open, and there was blood all over the table, all over the floor, and it was so horrible, and we had to, help him down because he was about to pass out.
He probably couldn't see either.
He couldn't. It was, right on his eyelid. Sliced it open. So he was holding it. There was blood everywhere, and I was about to pass out.
Just such a nice man coming to help.
Yeah, he was just coming to help. I felt like such a dick calling him over to come and do this.
Really?
But I did. Yeah, it was pretty horrible. And so we were trying to call an ambulance, trying to get his wife. I think she either had a baby or was pregnant or something. And so we were didn't want to bother her, but we obviously didn't know how to call an ambulance. So it was this whole thing. Horrible. He came back the next morning, had stitches. He was like, I'm so sorry about last night. It was so nice. And he was like, thank you for taking care of me. We're cleaning the blood off of the table. It was so gross. We ended up just going to bed and dealing with rat. But yeah, it was pretty horrible.
All these experiences.
Yeah. I was like, Mom!
I swear, yeah, there was always something happening, and I was just always like, oh my gosh, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, it was so scary. I was like, please pay for me to come home.
That was something that I told Braylee. If you really don't like it, we'll pay the money and you can come home. It was a lie.
It was a lie. I called her every day, and I was like,
you're not coming home, sorry.
Gage is at the top of the stairs with her. Want to come say hi?
Oh, look at this guy. Come say hi. We interrupt this podcast for the cutest little baby.
We're almost done now.
We're almost done.
Anyways, I could probably talk for 7 hours about all the experiences I had, but those are the main ones. I'm so thankful I went. I love the kids. They were great. I'm not trying to hate on this company or the school or anything. It's just my experience with them. And experience is kind of what you make of it. So I think a lot of our attitudes probably just ruined it from the beginning. And I always wish I could go back and just be positive. I wish I knew what I was going into before I went into it.
Right.
And I feel like we would have been a little bit more prepared. But that's okay. I'm here to tell a story.
You
That's
live
all
and
that
you
matters.
learn.
I was supposed to come home, I think, oh wait, that's the same day I came home. I was supposed to come home the 6th, and I told my mom I wasn't going to come home until the 10th because of a graduation. And
No,
so,
yeah, they were gonna hike to the top of a volcano.
yeah, I said we are going to camp on a volcano because other girls have done it, like, from our Costa Rica group. So I was like, this will be believable. She was like, okay, totally believed
100%.
it.
I was like, why would you stay for a graduation? I was so sad.
She's
But
like,
then
you're
I
so
was
selfish.
I was I was like, you didn't even teach that class.
Yeah, it wasn't even my class. I was like, I don't know, the girls just want to stay for
I
it.
was like, no, let them stay. You come home. But then I was like, if you're hiking to the top of a volcano, you should stay for
Yeah,
that.
it sounds fun. Little did she know, I was actually coming home that day. My boyfriend picked me up from the airport, which was such a surreal experience. Is like seeing people that you hadn't seen for 4 months. It felt like I was in a dream. I hugged him and I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have a boyfriend.
You're like, is this real life?
Yeah, I had no male affection or like communication for 4 months, so it was great. And then the next day, I went and surprised my mom, and I was like, "Do you want to see the view?" We put this in a video, but I was like, "Do you want to see the view from the volcano?" And I flipped it around, and it was our house, and she was so
I was
confused.
like, what? The first thing I thought was, how did Braylee get, like, did Braylee have someone take a picture of our house?
And I was like, "Come outside."
I
She
was
just didn't say anything.
Just so confused. I was like, huh?
I was like, "Mom, come outside." But yeah, that was
Pregnancy
awesome.
brain.
Surprised my siblings and my dad.
That was so
It was great.
fun.
There's
Yeah.
another video if you want to go watch that.
Yeah, I'll link them.
But it was so fun. I loved it. I love surprising them.
Yeah. So overall, would you recommend people going?
To be honest, no hate to this company, but I would never recommend anybody going just because of my experience. I think if you're going to want to go, you maybe want to look into all the programs and talk to other people who went on different trips. I would never recommend it just because I had not the best experience and it was really hard for me. And like I said, it's not what I was expecting at all. I have looked at a few about going to Africa for like 3 weeks and just literally just playing with the kids. And so if you're wanting something like that, definitely look into different programs.
That's it for Costa Rica, right?
Yep, Costa Rica done. It doesn't feel like it ever happened. When I see my friends from Costa Rica, it doesn't, like, I don't even know how to explain it. They don't even feel real.
Just it all feels like a dream.
Yeah, and we all just talk about Costa Rica the whole time because I feel like all of us kind of forget that we went and we don't really talk about it to other people.
Well, it's like a special bond that you guys will always have. Like no one else experienced that except for you guys.
Yeah.
So it will always be like just something
We're all
special.
trauma bonded.
Well, another really cool thing about going to Costa Rica is now you have new roommates. So tell us about that.
My boyfriend decided he was going to move to Utah. And after 4 months of long distance, I was like, no, thank you. I'm moving to Utah too. And there's a really good school down there. It's an esthetician school, which is something I want to go into. And Idaho has like a few decent ones, but this one focuses mostly on aesthetics and, you know, all that stuff. And they train with lasers. And so it's just a good school for me. It's a great opportunity. And my boyfriend was going to be down there. So, so I'm moving down to Utah. And I was looking for apartments, and they're so expensive because me and my boyfriend aren't going to live together for a little while. But they're so expensive, like $1,500 for one bedroom. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to afford this. Like, I don't even have a job down in Utah. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm looking for one, but I don't have one at the moment. And so I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Kind of just was like, whatever, I'll figure it out. And I figured it out.
And I am stressing. I'm like, Braylee, you're saying you're moving to Utah in a couple of months. You have to find somewhere to live. You have to find a job. You have to, like, figure this stuff out. And what did you say to me?
I said, Mom, everything just works out for me.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was kind of being a little cocky, but I was just like, yeah, everything works out for me. It's going to be fine.
I mean, manifest.
Yeah, I was manifesting
it.
I just feel like I kind of just think that throughout most of my life that I'll figure it out when I do. That's definitely a little bit of my anxiety is I just put stuff off until last minute. But then one day I got a Snapchat video and I opened it and it was my friend from Costa Rica and she was like, I am moving into my great grandma's house. It's $500 a month for everything, utilities, water, everything's included. Just for $500. Would you want to move in with me? And I was so excited. I called my mom right after and I was like, guess what? I found a house.
I was like, of course you did. Of course you found the best situation. It's in a safe area, girls you've already lived with. and for that price.
Yeah, it's great. And it's such a cute house. I went and looked at it the other day. I did get booted out of the master bedroom, which is fine. But, you know, for $500, I'd live in a tent.
Yes.
So it's great. We're building a pickleball court in our backyard. It's just going to be great. It's in such a cute area, like my mom said. If you know anything about where we live, there's nothing. Like, no food places, no shopping places. We're pretty much in the middle of nowhere.
That's not true.
It feels like it when you go to Utah. And so
Does
there's
it?
like,
Remember where I grew up?
yeah, that's true. But there's like a Dutch Bros, a Chipotle, and like 15.
It's gonna feel like a different planet.
Yeah, it's great. I'm so excited. I'm looking for a job down there, fingers crossed. I think for the first little while, I'm not going to school. I just want to save up money. And also, don't want to go to school yet. So.
Well, I think that it is smart to go and get established and know, like, this is how much money I'm bringing in. Can I work enough to pay for my living situation, go to school because it's going to take so much time, like, just feel established. I did that also when I first moved before I started school, and I'm grateful that I did.
Well, I feel like when we moved to Costa Rica, we were kind of just pushed into everything. Like, we lived on our own, we paid for our own food, not Ubers because we didn't drive. And, like, we were working and teaching and planning lessons, and it was just so much all at once. And so I feel like it'll be nice to just move, work a little bit, figure everything out.
Yeah, especially if you go to school to be an esthetician. I went to beauty school, and you have to have a certain amount of hours a day, and it's a long day. It's basically a full-time or a part-time job.
Yeah.
On top of a full-time or part-time job. So it's a lot.
Yeah, so I think just for a while. And I also want to save up enough money where I'm not like super stressed about rent, because that's never fun.
Yeah.
I mean, money comes to me.
Money comes to me too. Everything good happens to me.
Yeah.
After that happened with Braylee, I'm like, why am I not saying that out loud every day? Everyone say that out loud every day.
Manifest
and then
it.
just all the good things will start happening for us. So Braylee's going to be moving, which is so, so sad. It's so sad, but also I'm so excited.
It's weird. I saw somewhere that was like, you're never going to live with your family again. Like, after you move out, which is weird because that's all you know. I mean, I'm almost 20. That's all I've known for 20 years, which is weird. I mean, besides 4 months, which was a bad experience, so.
We've thought about doing a video also on how it is living at home when you're an adult and how it is having an adult child living at home. My kids are always welcome to stay with me as long as they want to, but, you know, I think that there are things that are hard about that for both you and I. So, you know, we could talk about that in a video because I'm sure with the price of rent right now, that's probably happening, and it's more common now to stay living at home.
Which
and
is okay.
It is okay. That's what I told Braylee. I was like, do not move. If you can go to school here, or if you can, just live here and work, stay here. We'll give you your privacy. It's too expensive. I can't imagine.
I always told my mom, I'm such a loser. I live at home at 19, which is so young still.
Yeah.
And then I started looking at apartments. I was like, actually, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
This is the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's wild. I can't imagine. It was so different when Dad and I moved out and found our own apartments. I swear I paid for the whole year what you would pay in 2 months.
It's crazy.
It's just a lot. So, but there are things that are hard, I think, about you still being at home. I mean, I love it and I want you to stay forever, but yeah, we could talk about that. Also, Layla's pretty pumped about still in your bedroom.
Yeah, of course she is. My bedroom's going to be a fourth of my bedroom here.
Yeah.
And so I'll probably still have to keep a closet.
You're just looking at it like, oh.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah, you can keep a closet. Right now, Layla doesn't even have a closet.
Yeah, she'll be fine.
Yeah, she'll be okay.
Well,
anyway, other than that, I just saw in the comments a lot of people say, where has Bray been? Where's Bray? Working all the time. She's always working or hanging out with her boyfriend and friends.
Not anymore.
Yeah, he's gone.
We're doing long distance again.
All right, you guys. Well, we've been talking for an hour. We just looked. If you're still hanging out with us, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, any extra questions, you can always leave them down in the comments, but you can also DM us. What is our podcast name? I can't remember. Jeez. I'm going to look it up right now.
Just do this. You're such an old lady.
I know. Hey, can we talk pod? We were right.
We have 56 followers?
We have 56 followers. What?
Wow, we're famous.
We haven't posted. Hopefully by the time this goes up, we've posted.
Fingers crossed. We're going to have to do a photo shoot or something.
I do not want a photo shoot right now. We'll post all of our old pictures and I'll pretend that that's how I look. after having my 5th child. Okay, so follow us. I just got sidetracked. Any other updates? You work a lot.
I work a lot because I'm the front desk manager at my job, which
Woo
is
woo.
so awesome. I got back and like a month later, she bumped me up, which is awesome. I've been working there for like 2.5 years, so I'm a little sad to be
Braylee's a
leaving
great
it.
employee.
I am. I'm the number one. Just
David,
kidding.
she even gets like nice reviews.
Yeah, I have some ladies cry because I'm so nice.
That's it for
That's my
updates.
life. Yeah.
All right, well, that is it for today's podcast episode. If you have any suggestions for upcoming podcasts, if there's anything that you would like us to talk about, I feel like we're like starting over. It's been a while, so we would love to hear from you guys what you want us to talk about. Any mother-daughter things, any parent-child things, just let us know all the things.
And even though I'm moving away, we're still gonna make like a day or maybe do like Zoom. We're still gonna film the podcast. We promise.
Yeah, we do want to keep this going. I also talked to Gage, and he was like, he can fill in. Layla is dying to do a
So is
podcast,
Winston.
and Winston. So, we can just rotate people through. Casey and I have talked about starting a podcast. I realized that I really like to talk. I miss doing the Mom's View. That was a YouTube channel that I did with my sister-in-laws, and I loved doing that. And I just think that it's fun to chat and like catch up and like talk
And
about
catch up.
things. Yeah.
I know I'm your guys' favorite though, so I'll still be one
Yeah.
of the main people.
Yeah, of course. Of course, we'll make it work. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.